Ladies and gentlemen, we're back. Apologize for the technical difficulties. I guess the crazy talk about the South Floridians pissed somebody off somewhere. Didn't like our video. They cut us off. Maybe it was when I was making fun of the leaders for not doing their part. But, yeah, Chad, people out on the beach having a great time, man. What do you think about that?
Oh man, these guys are idiots. You know, they're out there partying and acting like this thing isn't real. And there's the same people that are just headline news readers, and they live by the headline news. They actually don't do anything research-wise. They don't look into it. They don't know what's going on. You know, they're the same people that want to sound like experts because somebody sent them an article and they just send it off because of whatever it says on the headline news. It's You know, these guys are fucking idiots.
And what is Chad George doing right now, you know, during this quarantine? I mean, what's going on in your life right now since you can't be at the gym and you can't be training people?
So I'm doing the best I can. You know, I'm doing a couple privates here and there, which, you know, it does keep me afloat, which is great. I'm trying to do online training classes for people that are not even at my academy. Anybody that wants to train, I've been doing it daily at 5:30 on my Instagram at Chad Savage George. And you know, I'm just trying to stay positive, keep the mind strong, sticking on my routines. I do my daily journaling, my writing, all that kind of good stuff. Try not to get off of that. You know, I got to try to live my life just the way that it was. It's just it's a bit different of a challenge, and you know, I'm trying to stay as positive as I can, not only for myself but for everybody that follows, and you know, and then I've got my wife and the baby on the way. So, you know, it's a challenging time, but we need to be able to stand up and be the leader for the people around us.
You know, and besides that, I mean, obviously you've got a lot of things going on. You had Occupation Fighter, a fantastic sort of biography of your life when you were coming up in the fight game. Now you're kind of following that up with another project. Tell me a little bit about that.
So, yeah, in 2011, we released the documentary Occupation Fighter, which a lot of people saw around the world, and I can't believe the amount of support that we got from it. It showed the story, which was my story of an up-and-coming fighter that was trying to make it, and it was the real life, you know, behind the scenes, what we have to go through. And, you know, there was times of being homeless, I was broke, injuries, and all that stuff in between, and it showed the real life in between, behind the scenes of it. And now I've been in the sport for 15 years, and I concluded my last fight last year. We did the sequel to the film, which is being called The Life of a Fighter. And it's the journey. It's the journey that a fighter has to go through to make a career out of this. You know, this film really does encompass everything that I've done from the moment I started training to the moment I end, and really what my message is. And there's things in this film that it was just like the last one that were monumental things, from injuries to my fight almost not happening to my past coming back trying to haunt me again. And I needed to really figure out if this was what I wanted to do. And it was great that it was all captured on film again. So this film is going to come out here shortly. It's called The Life of a Fighter, The Journey. And it's going to be awesome. It really is everything that I've wanted to deliver as a message, tied into a very inspiring film.
And where would people be able to watch the film?
We don't know yet. As soon as the film is done editing, it's going to be shopped around to different distributions. Hopefully, you know, Netflix, Amazon, all that kind of good stuff. I know there's already prospects in the talk, and as soon as we get that information on where it's going to be, we'll be able to let everybody else know.
Well, the first one, Occupation Fighter, was absolutely fantastic, and I bring that up because it shows all the obstacles that you were able to overcome in, you know, becoming a champion eventually. I mean, I believe you became a champion obviously after. Well, you were a champion before that, but I think you reached the pinnacle of your career maybe after that, right? When you became combat jiu-jitsu champion, that was probably one of your milestones.
Yeah, you know, the thing about that film was that it led into a monumental moment that a lot of people was expecting me to come out on the victory side. And because of the fact that it didn't get the results that we hoped for, I think that's what made the story so genuine and so real, that all of us want to have a Rocky story where we end up on top, but in reality in life, it doesn't always work out that way. And in that film, it was the same way. I didn't get the results I wanted. I lost the fight that everything led up to, and all the struggle that I had been going through had seemed like it was for absolutely nothing. And it wasn't until later that some of my additional, accolades, that I can say that were some of the biggest in my career came even after that, which was combat jiu-jitsu, Bellator, opening the academy, things like that. But it's a story of just keep pushing, and if you keep on pushing and keep going forward, no matter what the results are, you're gonna find success. The only time that you fail is when you quit, when you stop.
Are those the sort of things that we're going to see in this follow up, the journey?
Absolutely. What's great about the journey is that it's showing not only my story, but we're introducing you to some other people's story that are going through the same routes that I did in the first film, Occupation Fighter. So you're going to be able to see everything tied together. And even in this one, my old injuries from the past come back to haunt me. I've got injuries in this that are plaguing the fight, and I'm just trying to lead the way by carrying the torch. And this film encompasses all that together, and it really does lead me up to that final bout of the last fight of my career.
So, I mean, it seems to me from what you're saying that we may have had an appetizer sort of that aspect in Occupation Fighter when you were dealing with Aisa, I believe it was, when you were helping her through her sort of struggles.
Yeah, she was one of my first and longtime students, and she's still a very, very close friend of mine. And now it's funny because when I first started in this path, I had individuals that I mentored, like I did with her. And then now it led into my academy. Now I have fighters and athletes and students that really have taken that same role. And you're going to meet them again in this follow-up film, but not necessarily just people on personal training, but people that are following realistically the same steps that I did.
I think it's going to be really interesting to see the evolution of you sort of working at a gym, influencing a couple people here and there, to you having your own gym and influencing a slew of people. I mean, I've been to the academy, obviously, where I've seen what felt like 100 people in the room at one time. I think that's going to be a really, really interesting difference between the first film and the second film. Another thing I wanted to touch on, Chad, was you've got a fantastic podcast that's been airing weekly on YouTube, the Savage Hour Podcast. Definitely, guys, check it out. It's the Savage Hour Podcast on YouTube. Just look for it, subscribe to it. So besides, the journey, you've got the Savage Hour Podcast going on right now. Obviously, with the gym closure, what else is it that you're working on, if anything?
I've got a book that I'm still writing on. It's one of those things that now I've got a little more time to focus on the book, really talking about my story, and it's just kind of going to give people the empowering message of failures lead to success, and so I have a little more time to work on that. Some of my other projects are all put on hold because they're all gym related, but right now it's about staying positive, working on the book. We got the film coming out. I got the family that I'm building. I got to keep them strong. And realistically, it's just staying motivated and staying strong here.
Yeah. Well, Chad, I mean, nobody knows how to stay stronger mentally than a fighter, especially a fighter of your caliber who's been a champion, a guy who's accomplished so much really in the past 15, 16 years in the sport. And so I think it's important for you, a guy who, again, was homeless twice and sacrificed everything for this sport. I think it's important for someone like you to sort of calm the nerves of people who are maybe stressed out at this time. So, I mean, is there anything you want to say to anybody that may watch this that's sort of on the edge because of what's going on right now?
And I do. It's like you could look at somebody that has my statistics, right? You could say that, oh wow, he's got these accolades and he's got to be a strong guy. And the truth is that I'm no stronger than anybody else. I'm not. I'm in a position now where I refuse to run from fear. I refuse to worry about the unknown. And that through my trials and tribulations, I've learned that as long as you're willing to stand and fight, good things are going to happen on the other end. And that's really what we all got to do. We got to realize that we have a choice to either stand there and worry, or we have a choice to stand there and fight. And with what's going on right now, we have to stand and fight. There is no other choice.
Chad George, always a fantastic interview. One of the most articulate people, I think, in the fight game. One of the most insightful. Thank you so much for your time. Anything you want to say before I let you go here, brother?
Much, you guys. Stay happy, stay healthy, take care of the people around you. This isn't the time to be selfish and worry about your own needs. We have to work together as a community so we can come out of this together.
Chad George, ladies and gentlemen, enjoy your whiskey and Star Wars Episode 1, my brother.
Episode 2.
Oh, Episode 2. There you go. Take care, man. Thank you for
All
your
right.
time.
Cool. Thanks.
All right, man. Well, there you have it, knuckleheads. Thank you so much for tuning in. Sorry this had to be cut in half into 2 episodes. Unfortunately, YouTube kind of wigged out on me, or my computer, or whatever it was. But, hope you guys appreciated the interview. And, we'll see you guys next time. Today is Wednesday, so we'll be back. Wow, losing track of the day. So we'll be back Friday. Maybe even tomorrow, since we're not doing much because of this quarantine, but we'll definitely be back Friday around 7 p.m. Pacific. So be sure to tune in then next time. And knuckleheads, stay safe. Like Chad said, don't be selfish. This is a time to look out for people. This is the time to tap into that empathy, to show love to people. Not a time to be selfish. Not a time to loot or to prey on people. So keep your heads up and keep it clean, knuckleheads. I'm out. Take care.